In the last video, I showed you how to make a ball bounce off all four sides of your window. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a ball bounce inside a different region. Let's draw a rectangle in the upper section of the screen. So I'm going to draw a rectangle from 100, 100 to 700, oops, thinking about this wrong, with a width of 600 and a height of 200, let's say. Let's make it a different color. So I'm going to fill with a new color that will be no red, all green, no blue. So I'll have a color that's green, I'll draw my rectangle, then I'll have a color that's red, and I'll draw my circle. So here's what it looks like. What if I wanted the ball to bounce just inside of this rectangle? Let's think about what from this program we want to keep the same and what needs to change. Well, we still want to draw the circle. We still want to move the circle by adding to its x and y coordinates for whatever its x and y speeds are. We still want to have it reverse its direction whenever it hits something. It's just that we want to change the location that it's hitting. So here, instead of asking if it's hitting the left side of the screen, we want to ask if it's hit the left side of the box. And if it hits the left side of the box, that's when we want to bounce. Here we want to ask if it's hit the right side of the box. Okay, so how are we going to realize this in code? Well, we have to know where the coordinates of the box that we drew. So let's look at it again. Oh. Let's comment that out, and then let's look at it again. So here's the box. The left side is the same or we know that the first two numbers in the rectangle command are the upper left-hand corner. So that means that this left-hand wall must be at an x coordinate of 100. I know that these two are the width and the height of the rectangle. So if the left-hand wall is an x-coordinate of 100 and the width is 600, that must mean the right-hand side is 100 plus 600, or 700. So let's go ahead and put those numbers in. Here I've got the left side of the box is at 100, but I don't want to know if the horizontal position of my ball is exactly touching the left-hand side of the box. I want to know if I've gone past the left-hand side of the box. So I want to know if my x-coordinate is smaller than 100. And if it is, then I'll reverse the horizontal speed. For the right-hand side of the box, I'll test if the x-coordinate is larger than 700. Let's see what it looks like. So you see that the y position, we're still bouncing off of the top and the bottom of the screen. But for the horizontal position, it seems like we're bouncing off of approximately where the edges of the box are. Let's make those same two changes for the top and the bottom of the box. So here I want to check if we're hitting the bottom of the box. So I want to check if we're larger than 100 plus 200, because that's the y coordinate of the top and the height. So I want to check if we're larger than 300, and that should be the bottom of the box. For the top of the box, the y coordinate is 100. So you might be wondering what's gone wrong here. Why is it just jiggling back and forth like that? What's happening is it's constantly changing vertical direction. So this line of code right here is running actually it's this one. So this line of code is running all the time. Every single frame of the animation we're seeing, we're changing the y speed, which means we're changing the y direction. But why is that happening? Well, this test was trying to ask, have we gone off the bottom of the box? But if you look, we actually start off the bottom of the box. So the ball doesn't actually start inside the box, and so it thinks that it's gone off the bottom and it should reverse its direction, but it doesn't get far enough to get back inside the region where it can bounce. So instead, it just all the time thinks that it's bouncing. So let's change it by actually starting the circle inside the rectangle. Let's see, the rectangle has a y-coordinate of 100 at the top, and its height is 200. So I think if I started at 200, now it'll be right in the middle of the box. There we go. So now I've got a circle bouncing inside the rectangle. You might be wondering, why doesn't it really stay inside the rectangle? You see that it goes outside the boundaries a little bit. Let's talk about that. I've drawn a little dot at the very middle of the circle, and you can see that it only bounces when that dot in the middle goes past the wall. And that's because we're testing if the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate are larger than the rectangle boundaries. But the x and the y-coordinate don't describe the edges of the ball, they describe the middle of the ball. So really, when we're saying is x smaller than 100, we're not saying is the ball to the left of the left side of the rectangle. We're asking if the center of the ball is to the left of the left side of the rectangle. So really, instead of that, we want to say, is the left side of the ball crossing the left side of the box? So how would we describe where is the left side of the ball? If the center of the ball is at x, then the left side of the ball has to be smaller than x. So how big is the ball? This ball has a diameter of 60, which means the radius is 30. So what that means is that if I want to know where is the left-hand side of the object, it's at x minus 30, because I need to subtract the radius to find the coordinate of the left-hand side. So instead of asking if x is smaller than 100, let's ask if x minus 30 is smaller than 100, because this is describing the left-hand side of the ball. Let me move the dot to show you where x minus 30 is on the ball, and we'll change the test, if we should bounce, also to test the left-hand side of the ball, and we'll see what it all looks like. Okay, so now you can see a point on the left-hand side of the ball, and when we get to the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see it reverse direction when that dot hits the left-hand side of the box there. There we go. So that's what you'd need to do. For testing the left wall, you want to test the left-hand side of the circle. For testing the right wall, you'd want to test the right-hand side of the circle, which is x plus the radius. The reason it's plus the radius is because we want to move to the right of the middle. So here we're asking, is the right-hand side of the ball past the right-hand side of the rectangle? Let's speed the horizontal speed up a little bit and then watch to see what happens. And then you can try and fix for the y-coordinates. Ah, that looks crisper. Very nice. Okay, so come back and hopefully you can make it look like this. A really clean bounce off of all four walls. Good luck.